Have you been good this year? That is the question every child expects when Santa Claus arrives. It's a simple arrangement. You are good, you get a present. You are naughty, you get nothing. But it turns out this doesn't work the same way everywhere in the world. In our contemporary safe culture, these are usually empty threats. We have stripped Santa Claus of his severity. He has become a benevolent grandfather who forgives everything. But in some cultures, they know something we have forgotten. They understand that reward alone is not enough to maintain order, that goodness needs a counterweight, that Saint Nicholas, the symbol of absolute benevolence, cannot dirty his hands with the necessary work of punishment. That is why, in the shadow of his red coat, someone else walks. In many cultures across the globe, it was believed that fear is the ultimate tool for safeguarding the young. We are not speaking about minor sanctions or empty threats. We are talking about monsters, demons, and dark legendary figures created for one purpose: to establish an undeniable consequence for disobedience. This system taught children to be aware and cautious because failure to comply meant more than losing a reward. It meant facing a threat of outright abduction, disappearance, or facing a terror that existed outside the warm circle of the family home. The bad Santa. Let's start at the source. In the Alpine region, Austria, Bavaria, Tyrol, this is where the most famous anti-Santa was born. Krampus. His name likely comes from the German word Krampen, meaning claw. He is the ultimate dark twin, a horned, hairy, cloven-hoofed beast with a lolling tongue and an utterly terrifying appearance. In Alpine tradition, these two figures are inseparable. On the 5th or 6th of December, they walk from house to house together. Nicholas, dressed as a bishop, asks the children about their prayers and good deeds. He is gentle, but behind him stands Krampus, rattling heavy chains. Krampus is the arbiter of cruelty. He doesn't just withhold gifts, he hands out beatings with birch branches. And for the most defiant children, he has a terrifying vessel, a large basket or sack strapped to his back. The threat was explicit. Naughty children get stuffed into the sack and taken away to the darkness. This dynamic created an incredibly effective system of social control. The parent could maintain their benevolent image while outsourcing the fear. Do you think Krampus is unique? Far from it. The concept of the dark helper is universal all over the world. Let's take a quick look at them. We start close to home, where the relationship between Saint Nicholas and the dark helper is most direct. In Germany, we find Knecht Ruprecht, Ruprecht the servant. He's less beast, more grim man, often wearing black or brown robes, carrying a bag of ashes and a switch. His purpose was simple. He tested children on their knowledge and prayers. If they failed, Ruprecht delivered the corporal punishment. In Switzerland, Schmutzli is the soot-covered sidekick of the Santa. His name itself means dirty one, a shadowy figure wielding the switch and ready to use the sack. Similar figure exists in German-American culture, especially in Pennsylvania. A bellsnickel. He is more wild, dressed in furs with a nondescript face that rings bells and can throw coal, instilling more terror. These figures, including bellsnickel, show the crucial transfer of duty. The saint delivers the blessing, the grim servant delivers the beating. Even in the Netherlands and Belgium, the figure of Zwarte Piet, meaning Black Pete, emerged as Santa's dark counterpart, appearing relatively late in the early 19th century. Zwarte Piet was traditionally depicted as a dark-skinned man who was terrifying to children at a time. According to Dutch tradition, Zwarte Piet is the one who scales the roofs and climbs down the chimneys at night to deliver Santa's gifts by the fireplace. But in times past, parents used to terrify their children by claiming that Zwarte Piet would abduct naughty children while they slept, put them in his sack, and carry them off to Spain. For them, in this distant land, the children would have to work hard for an entire year to atone for their sins. But for true psychological horror, we must look to those who chose not a mythical demon, but a human monster. This is where it gets scarier. In France and Wallonia, we encounter Père Fouettard, the Father Whipper. His origin story is perhaps the most chilling of all. Legend paints him as a corrupt and evil butcher. One brutal winter, 3 wealthy boys traveling to boarding school sought shelter at his shop. Instead of offering warmth, the butcher murdered them, dismembered their bodies, and stuffed them into a large salting barrel, planning to sell them as salted meat. When Saint Nicholas discovered the horrific deed, he miraculously resurrected the boys. The murderer, Père Fouettard, was forced into eternal penance, compelled to walk beside the saint forever, acting as his brutal human enforcer, a perpetual reminder of the evil lurking beneath the surface of civilization. A similar figure exists in the Alsace region, Hans Trapp, a wealthy, cruel man, rumored to have been a Satanist and a cannibal who preyed on children before he was struck down by God. He returns every Christmas season as a scarecrow-like figure, a boogeyman to stop children from wandering outside their homes. In the Alpine regions, besides the male figures, lurks the female primal spirit of winter, Frau Perchta. Her legend is far older, rooted in pagan origins. Perchta, depending on the story, can be beautiful and luminous, but is more often depicted as a terrifying old woman. She has a mission to enforce order during the 12 nights, Rauhnächte, which points to the Christmas time, and she does so in the most brutal manner imaginable. Perchta doesn't threaten with a switch. She threatens that if you are naughty or lazy, she will cut open your stomach, remove your intestines, and stuff the cavity with garbage and stones. This killer witch is a promise that she will find you when you lack discipline or have been bad. This is the darkest lesson. Evil doesn't always wear horns. Sometimes it wears a man's face. Other Christmas monsters. The impulse to scare children into being good transcends Christianity and geography. In Japan on New Year's Eve, we find the Namahage. These creatures, men dressed in terrifying demon masks and straw raincoats, are designed to enforce discipline. They barge into homes carrying huge knives, shouting, "Are there any crybabies here? Are there any lazy children?" It's a spectacular high-stakes ritual where parents must plead with the Namahage to spare their children, promising future diligence. Let's travel to Iceland, where fear takes an animal form, the Yule cat. According to Icelandic folklore, this gigantic black cat doesn't terrorize with its appearance, but with its motivation. The Yule cat roams the country at Christmas, and as strange as it may sound, eats anyone who hasn't received new clothes for the holidays. This sounds like a bizarre, absurd nightmare, but it served a vital social role, especially for children, because new clothes were a reward for good work and diligence throughout the year. If a child was lazy and failed to contribute to the household chores, they risked the Yule cat finding them in their old rags. It's a powerful, terrifying system that punishes laziness and rewards diligence, cloaked in one of the world's strangest legends. And finally, we must acknowledge the perfect modern counterpart, born from pure pop culture, the Grinch. Dr. Seuss's creation is the ultimate anti-Santa. He lives in solitude, hates the joy of Christmas, and his defining act is stealing the material rewards, the gifts, from the sleeping children of Whoville. While he is ultimately redeemed, his initial purpose is identical to Krampus, to remove the object of the reward, thus threatening the entire structure of the holiday. The Grinch proves that the anxiety surrounding the festive season, the fear of loss, the threat of chaos, is an enduring cultural touchstone even today. If you are fascinated by uncovering the other, darker side of well-known stories, hit subscribe. Click the bell so you don't miss our upcoming episodes. We return now to our main beast. In the 21st century, these figures should be locked away in a museum. Instead, we are experiencing a Krampus renaissance. In Austria, Germany, and across the Alpine region, parades known as Krampuslauf now attract thousands of tourists. This is no longer just quiet rural tradition, it's a massive show. Groups known as PAS compete to have the most terrifying, hand-carved masks. The chaos is palpable, the fear is performative, but the underlying tension remains. Why? Because for adults, it's a release, a chance to embrace the darkness and the chaos that the highly sanitized modern Christmas avoids. For children, it's still the same lesson, a spectacular, high-stakes reminder that life demands discipline and respect for authority. These figures, Krampus, Père Fouettard, Namahaj, and even the Grinch, are all part of the same story. A story that says, kindness is a reward you must earn. Santa gives gifts because he wants to. His dark counterparts punish because they must. That is their role in the essential balance of the world. So, the next time you see Santa at the mall putting children on his knee, think about who is missing. Think about the empty space beside him. It's a reminder that even in the most joyous season, we must remember our humanity, our flaws, and the primal consequences of our choices. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, and see you next time.